All right, Bishop, can you hear us? Okay, I've got to get to your presentation slides real quick, so I'm going to back out the screen, and you can go ahead while I get your picture up.
All right, thanks. Can you hear me okay?
I think that with a couple of nods in the audience, they can hear you okay.
Okay, great. I'm glad to be able to talk to you. I wish I could be there. I had a great time when we went out to Indianapolis for our wood badge training. We'll get to that. My name is Tarantino. I was called to be a bishop in March of 2011. And one of the things that we started emphasizing in our statesmen back then was the getting our leaders adequately trained and following the counsel to leave youth leaders in their position no longer for some continuity. And so we made a conscious effort to do that. Last year, one of my counselors went to Pittsburgh for wood badge training, and when he came back, we talked about the benefits of that and how that we should send our leaders to wood badge. And the reason is so that we could really learn leadership and learn the scouting program. I want to talk about two things during this next few minutes. One is why bishops should want to use venturing, and the second is how receiving wood badge training helped me as a bishop. And we'll start off with venturing. Now, I was never a scout growing up. Still consider myself a rookie, and that's me. I'm third from the left in that group photo. And most of the scouting that I've learned in my life has been in the last few years, and it's through training and going to campouts with my own boys and others, and just being involved in various activities. And what I'm really learning more about now is the reasons why and how to put the program together and the importance of really making it a boy-led program and getting them to find adventure and those types of things. So the adventure training, I did find out is all about enabling you to be leaders and to find adventure somewhere, whether that's outdoors or whether it's learning about professions or other skills or whatever it is. They need to find adventure and do hard things, and we all know that, we all heard that, but it's different in the doing of it. So after I took the venture-specific training, we still in our state didn't really have a true venture crew operating, and we were trying to get to that point. So it usually happens in scouting, once you've been through training, they ask you to do the training for the next one. So I had to do the next venture-specific training, and so that really is the explain, demonstrate, guide, and enable. And you talk about adventure, that was an adventure for me, trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. But the beauty is, if you do the program, they help you along the way, and it works out. Everybody helps each other. Because that was my experience learning the venturing. When I came away thinking, after taking the training and being the trainer, the question I kept asking is, who would want to do venturing? If we know what it is, why wouldn't we do it? It is the greatest thing, I think, for boys of that age. The best thing, I think, for them is you pick your own uniform. There is no uniform except the one the boys pick. And that's the age when we start seeing boys bristling about, how come I have to wear this shirt, and why can't I go do this? We've had crews in our state where their uniform was the black and white striped referee shirt. They loved it. Very envious. All these other kids, that how come they get to wear that? Well, when you get to be a venturer, this is the type of thing you get to do. It adds a lot more excitement, and it's the boys' choice. And that was huge. We had other guys that wanted to wear a high state shirt, but that's why I said, well, we sent all the answer there. Indiana. The next best thing, or the next thing that's one of the best that they get to do is the boys get to pick which things they want to do. And if it's done right, why wouldn't And so that was our start. So we are moving towards I think, the appropriate boy-led program, and as these boys get older, as far as the venture crew follows in their footsteps like these younger ones have done, it's just going to be functioning, I think, the way it's supposed to. If we go to the next slide.
It's up.
It's up, okay. Yeah, there's a little delay on the streaming here, but this should be the spaghetti and meatball. This should look like a diagram, venturing, mapping the front to a purpose. Is that right?
Yes.
This came from our woodbank project, and what we were trying to do is emphasize the need for the scouting and especially the venturing to be fun for the boys. And this is true in all across, from the 11-year-olds over the comes all the way up. What you see on this slide at the top are the selected fun things. Those are things that while the boy wants to be involved in venturing, those are just some of the things we think when we're high adventure, rappelling, rafting, looking at careers, food, always about food. One of the best scout leaders around here has taught me early on was that if you get to know the boy, you got to eat with them. And that's why the campouts are important, and that's why those times when you're on an adventure, the real times are great at uniting and really get to know who the boys are and what they're about. So what we looked at is here are the fun things, and then each of those fun things relates to a method or the goals of the adventuring program that is applicable across scouting. And what we're finding is when the program doesn't work the way it's really supposed to, it's usually because we adult leaders are getting in the way. We're emphasizing the methods and the goals, and it's eclipsing the really fun part that will attract the youth, and that's why they want to come. If it's our program, they're going to hate it. We old people don't know what the young people want to do as well as they do, and our great ideas are crazy to them. So we had a goal to make sure that we can, from the boys' side, emphasize the fun parts, and then for our side, we will try to make sure that they are consistent with the goals and methods of scouting, kind of have them learn those without realizing that they're learning them. That by doing the fun things appropriately, they will learn the leadership and all the things that they need as a byproduct without really recognizing that they're doing that. The other one thing that we can do that kind of mess that up are not learning, tapping into the talents and interests of each boy. And when we've chosen to do that, we've found that it's really been well. Guys have really blossomed into leaders or active participants in ways that they hadn't before. That's really made a big difference. If we can go to the next slide, and this should be one of some pictures of some of our adventures.
It's up.
It's up. Okay, great. Well, anyway, you'll see some bicycles, and there's some high ropes course things, and there's the beach. There's a nice set of ditches, which sometimes comes with adventure, but what we had was a great trip, was our high adventure trip. We basically biked from Columbus down to Cincinnati and back, and stopping at inside of ice cream shop along the way. And one of the great things was a lot of these boys didn't want to do biking. They didn't like bicycling. They didn't want to go. And some of them really resisted. When they got on the trip, though, when we went in a pack, that peer pressure to make it to the end was so strong that even the boys that were tired or hurt felt the need to continue on. And we had a great time. As you ride that path, a lot of things to talk about. You sit back and listen to the boys talking, things that they find funny, was great. When I talk to these boys nowadays, they ask them if they want to do another bike trip. They say, bike? No way, I haven't sat on a bike since that trip. But they will all talk fondly about what they learned on that trip, and voice from our owner, but we see him from time to time at various staking activities, and they will almost always bring up our bike trip and the things that happened on that. We biked 230 miles. We biked over to Kings Island Amusement Park, spent the day there, and just did fun things that way. The greatest thing about that trip was, remember somebody early on asking one of the adult leaders, why are you doing this? Do you really think that you can make it all the way? And his response was, no, that's why I'm doing it. If I knew I could do it, I wouldn't have to go. And that was the beauty for the boys to hear. They recognize that, hey, we got to get the challenge, and this is where we learn what we can do. And it's doing hard things, and it's uniting in the effort, and it was great. So if you go to the next slide, this is another great byproduct. I told you got to eat with the boys. You don't always have to eat what they eat, but boys plus a frog equals an unusual breakfast combination. Now, this event really captured the spirit of the venturing in a way that I didn't realize until afterwards when we started talking about it, was that when my son caught that frog and they were talking about various things and asked if they could eat the frog legs. Well, we had somebody who knew how to do it, adult leaders, who consulted him on part of it is, it is fun. You get to learn things and you get to do things in a fun environment, and what could be better than that? If we go to the next slide, this is us at the end of wood batch. This is when you finish the course, when you're at the outdoor venue, the staff, after coaching us up for 6 days or so, and they send us off, and this is the send-off. And it's the most respectful way that I could have imagined. They're very encouraging, but you see, that is an important ceremony. You are sent off, and then you leave them behind. You go, and we walk through that double line, and they're saluting us for a job well done, and sending us off on our own to take what we've learned and lead others and train others to be leaders. And this is really a touching moment when you go through here and when you reflect on it. But it's really what venturing is all about. We're supposed to coach up the youth and allow them to go and be enabled to be the leaders of their peers. And then they will be the leaders of the church and business and everything later when they get there. As a bishop, I have a much better understanding of how the scouting program is supposed to work because we looked at during the wood batch experience, and I got a whole notebook here from wood batch that helps me when we have questions or when we're discussing things. You could say that as a ward, we have made course corrections in our scouting program, which is the equivalent of repentance, I guess, in my book, where we corrected our course and got it back in line with what the ideals are. And by doing that, I think we're in much better shape in terms of where our youth are and where they need to be learning the right way. Through all that, through my wood batch experience and the looking back on it now, when you leave wood batch, there's some assignments that you do. It's called working your ticket, and there's some things that you follow up on, and you have a year and a half to do those. And I'm still working on some of those, but in looking back on those are designed to help you come back and improve your local crew or troop or whoever you're working with. But I look back now and I still ask myself, why isn't everybody doing wood batch? And then I ask all of you the same question. Why isn't everybody doing wood batch? And that's the end of my presentation, but I want to leave with I want to have time for some questions, and I want to ask the first question, and one is, if we're not doing wood batch and it's because of the money, what part of your budget is more important than getting the youth leaders properly trained? And I'll let you discuss that one. If you have questions maybe about our experiences, feel free to, I'll do my best to answer them.
Any questions for Bishop Tarantino? All right, Bishop, we really appreciate it. We're going to let you off the hook and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you.